All right, we're back for another Midnight Mirage Night Edition. It's the host, Blackbeard. I'm back. Happy Father's Day to all the brothers out there and all the men out there of all ethnicities and nationalities who are fathers. You know, salute to all y'all people, man. Keep up the good work and keep raising good young men and good women. In today's tape, or tonight's tape rather, I want to talk about basically, you know, the emotional aspect of the male or the man, and how it is important to let your emotion, to acknowledge certain emotions you have, and to allow these emotions to express themselves through you. And it's important for you to feed these emotions as well. Now, in today's tape, we're going to talk about a variety of things, but you know, I want to use myself as an example so it'll make a lot of this stuff make sense. As a child, there was two movies that stuck out to me in my childhood a lot. Those being Aladdin and one being The Beauty and the Beast. All right, these are two movies that were very, very influential, and they had a subconscious connection with me in my life. So let's go over these two movies real quick. So in the movie Aladdin, you had this guy, Ali. Ali was basically a quote-unquote street rat, and he was this guy who, you know, was homeless, and he basically was one of the thuggies. You know, he's just a guy who would steal in the bazaars and steal in the market, you know, had to sleep in alleys and stuff like that. But he had a lot of charisma. He had a lot of personality. He was liked by all the people, but, you know, he just was a poor man. You know what I'm saying? So Ali came across a situation where, you know, he was in the prison lockdown with Jafar. Jafar told him about the Cave of Wonders. And inside the Cave of Wonders, as we all know, that's when he comes across the magic carpet, and he comes across the genie in the lamp. Now, once he gets the magic carpet and the genie in the lamp, he comes back out, and basically he makes a wish. All right. Now, before I go into Ali's wish, on the other side of that, you have Princess Jasmine. Princess Jasmine being this noble, royal person, okay, woman. And she was actually the daughter of the Sultan. All right, so she was basically the highest person in society. You know what I'm saying? So Princess Jasmine, you know, and she's used to living in the royal court, but she's used to being around a lot of people who are, you know, they fake and phony. They want to just be around her because of her royal status, you know, and she can kind of see through people. You know, people are always kissing her ass, always telling her she's so beautiful and this, that, and the third. So she lives in this lap of luxury, but at the same time, she's missing a lot of substance. So she doesn't really, you know, tend to like be satisfied with that lap of luxury, because she knowing that it's something that she's really missing in her life. So going back to Ali. So what happens with Ali, he ends up making a wish about, you know, becoming Prince Ali. And then he goes to try to sway Princess Jasmine, you know what I'm saying, into liking him. Now, he's going as Prince Ali. He's not going as who he really is. And the reason why is because he's kind of insecure about who he really is. Now, we're going to pause right there. The other story that was very, very influential to me was The Beauty and the Beast. What is that story about? That story is about basically this beast who lives inside this castle. And it's this woman who comes across the beast. And the beast has a lot of good personal characteristics and good qualities. But because he feels he's ugly, and because he feels nobody will accept him the way he is, and because he's ashamed of himself, he's always hiding in the shadows. So whenever the woman comes to try to see his face, he's running from her. He's hiding in the shadows. He's doing whatever he can to be around her, but at the same time, not let her see his full identity. All right. Now, at the same time, throughout the narrative, you will see that the beast has this, you know, emotion inside of himself where he wants to feel this type of love, and he actually wants to make a union with this woman. But because of his own insecurity, he doesn't show her who he really is. So in these two situations you have in Aladdin, you know, he's putting on this front like he's Prince Ali, but he only has the power of the genie. That's not really who he is. And in The Beauty of the Beast, he's putting up this front basically because he feels insecure about how he looks. So you have these two people who have all the internal qualities, but they are insecure about, you know, some kind of circumstance that they have. The reason why this connects to me And it connects to a lot of brothers who probably listen to my tapes, and a lot of you brothers out there that are on this stay down to come up quest, is because we all represent that archetype I like to call the male Cinderella. In 2017, you have what's known as the male Cinderella. What is the male Cinderella? The male Cinderella would be these brothers out here who are, let's say, educated. They have the perfect balance of being both street and educated and spiritual. They have knowledge of self. They probably dedicated a lot to learning. They have respect for their mothers and the women in their life and their father. And they kind of get along with everybody in society. And usually when people come around these men, they get enlightened and they feel a sense of euphoria when they're around these people. You know, these are just the people that make you naturally feel good by being around them. But one thing about these men have no financial money or no financial resources, excuse me. They lack assets, maybe. They may not have a car. They may not have a job. They may not have a house or an apartment, quote unquote. They may be in debt. They may feel like they're overweight. It may be a variety of things that's going on with them to have them feeling somewhat insecure about themselves. So the 2017 male Cinderella is the same as Aladdin, which is the same as the Dark Beast. All right. All three of these characters represent the same thing. You are basically a person who have all the intangible qualities, but because of a few things in the physical world that you think are important because of your environment, you know, you shoot yourself in the foot. And what this does is it causes you to suffer. Now, I want to continue the Disney stories. So in Aladdin, now mind you, like I said, Princess Jasmine was used to being in the royal courtyard around a bunch of phonies and a bunch of people who was just basically laughing in her face because she was the queen and they wanted to make her feel good. So she wasn't used to anybody being a real self around them. You know what I'm saying? Like just treating her for the person she was. She was always used to the fakeness. So she didn't really like that. You know what I'm saying? So when she met Prince Ali, she remembered seeing Aladdin in the market in a few prior scenes in the movie. So she was like, man, you look like that guy that I saw in the market. Now, mind you, that when she was in the market, when the situation went down with Aladdin in his bummy stage, he did something that was, you know, basically a projection of his character and his personality. And she liked it and she remembered it. So when that Prince Ali character came, she was like, damn, you look kind of familiar. Now, Aladdin had been insecure. He like, oh, man. Damn, did she see me that day in the market when I had on those bummy pants? Damn, did she see me that day in the market when I had on my dirty fez? Because remember in the movie Aladdin, they was wearing fezzes, by the way. They was Moors. Aladdin is a Moor. Did she see me when I had my dirty fez? Damn, she didn't see me when I was in my Aladdin stage, was she? Oh, fuck. She didn't see me before the genie, did she? Damn. So what he did was he lied. He said, oh, no, I wasn't in the market. You know, I had my servants go to the market and stuff like that. So then when he said that, she kind of like was like, oh, man, you know, oh, okay. It was like you kind of saw the air leave her. Now, while Aladdin is doing all this flexing, the genie is telling him the whole time, like, dude, you need to be your true self because this act that you putting on is not who she really wants. You think that because you insecure about certain things, but she really wants that guy that was in the streets that day. Prince Ali's thinking, oh, that's impossible. Like, she's a fucking royal princess. You know, she's used to having baths every day and got a pet tiger and all this stuff. Like, why would she want to be with a bum like me who steals apples? That's impossible. So he kept on lying. Same thing with the Beast and the Beauty of the Beast. You know, the woman already knew it was something up with him because he was hiding and stuff like that. And she had even heard certain stories that it was a beast that lived up in that castle. But yet still she went up in there because, you know, she was intrigued by the guy's charisma and personality. Because remember, he was playing the piano and shit like that. But at the same time, he's thinking in his mind, oh, she don't like me. You know, I'm a hairy, ugly beast and stuff like that. So he keeps hiding and stuff like that. So in both of these situations, these men are basically bottling up their emotions and they're not allowing themselves to freely express and make the union with the princess. Now, the reason why I'm telling a lot of you brothers this shit, because this mythology is talking about us. A lot of you melanated Aboriginal indigenous men here who are going into that conscious stage, I guarantee a lot of you all struggle financially. You know, either you don't got a car, you don't have an apartment, a home. It's something going on in your life that makes you feel inadequate. And you got something going on in your life that is trying to make you feel like it is more valuable than those true and tangible qualities that you have, such as the charisma, the enlightenment, the knowledge, etc. And you having something else battle with you to make you choose between which one is more important. You know, you got a lot of women out here who are saying stuff like, man, well, if you ain't got no car, I don't want to date you. You know, if you still stay with your mom, I don't want to date you. If, you know, you don't have a college degree, I don't want to date you. So all these external things are having you feel like, man, dang, man, I was doing a lot of conscious stuff and reading and elevating my soul, and it was working, but, you know, maybe I need to put that down, and maybe I need to go get some money and stuff like that, because that's what's going to get the women. So you having this civil war within yourself between your value system. Which one are you going to choose more, your soul or your goal? Remember I made that tape, souls versus goals? So this is what's going down. And, you know, based on which one you choose and value more is going to be the one you get down with. All right. So now let's go into the second phase of this tape. So what ends up happening next in Aladdin is, of course, you know, Princess Jasmine gets with Prince Ali. Not necessarily because of this Prince Ali character, but because she sees he has this magic carpet. Now, what that magic carpet and what the genie represents is it represents actually the power inside of Aladdin. So you have to look at it like this. The genie and the magic carpet actually represent Aladdin's inner power. That's actually the true essence of who he is. You know, that street rat, like when he found the genie and when he found that magic carpet, that was an external or an outside representation of his inner qualities. And this is why he found it. That's why Jafar couldn't go inside the Cave of Wonders. That's why remember when the Cave of Wonders, when he had to walk up and talk to that tiger, the tiger wasn't letting everybody go up in there. He only let certain people go in there. So you got to ask yourself, well, why would he let Prince Ali go in there? Or Aladdin go in there, rather? If Jafar already knew about the shit, why didn't Jafar go in there? Because Jafar didn't have these personal intangible qualities. He didn't have the charisma. He didn't have the integrity. He didn't have these other traits that Aladdin had. So you're not going to be able to go in the Cave of Wonders to get the magic carpet and the genie if you don't have those traits. So it's all occult esoteric symbolism in that shit. And the reason why Aladdin was allowed to go in because of his humility. You see, the only way everybody's going to like you is if you humble. See, most of these brothers who have a knowledge of self, I guarantee wherever they go and they start talking, everybody shut up and they listen to them. You know, and I guarantee a lot of old black women like them too. Older black women. A lot of young brothers who have a knowledge of self, older black women are crazy about these guys. But the reason why is because, you know, a lot of it is the humility, you know. So this allows you to go inside the Cave of Wonders, all right? So he goes in there, and, of course, Princess Jasmine likes him and shit. So now I want to kind of go into a personal situation and why you don't ever need to play into that fake, false insecurity that you think you got, because that shit is fake. Now, I don't know if I gave this story in the tape before, but I'm going to do it again. Long story short, after I graduated college, you know what I'm saying? I got my little degree and stuff like that. But, you know, after you graduate college, you got to go back and start from the bottom. So, yeah, I had me a little apartment and stuff like that in college. But when I left college, I had to move out my apartment and start all over in a whole nother city. You know what I'm saying? So, basically, I had to go back to my my Aladdin stage, you know. You know, and then on top of that, I had a felony on my record too. So it's hard for me to get low income and jobs. I didn't have my own place to stay. So I had things that possibly could have made me feel insecure about myself. And, you know, I'm not naturally an insecure guy, but I mean, these are things that I notice, you know what I'm saying? And these are things that I'm seeing that, man, I got to try to figure out what I'm going to do about this shit. So at the same time, you know, I'm still doing my knowledge of self, and I'm feeling my soul rising on a level that I've never felt before. Okay, even when I had me a little apartment, check that out. But I'm noticing my soul going to higher levels that it had never been before, right? And then I end up writing a book and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm in this process. I'm moving a little bit, but at the same time, I'm not where I want to be. So then I come across this woman that I meet. Now, the woman that I meet basically is this Instagram model, Lenox Mall shopping, you know what I'm saying, Atlanta housewives looking, you know, Buckhead restaurant eating. Like, she one of them type women, okay? And I came across this woman. Now, mind you, now, I'm Aladdin. You know, the street rat, you know what I'm saying? The nigga that really ain't got nothing but his personality and his spirit. And I come across this woman who, you know, not only has a lot of money, because she was, you know, this woman had a lot of bread, but on top of that, she has this powerful spirit, this powerful physical beauty about her. So, you know, me, I'm not, you know what I'm saying, I'm not an intimidated guy. So I'm able to, you know, still will and deal with the woman. But I'm noticing that she is still attracted to me, even though I don't have these certain things. But in the back of my mind, you know, I'm just coming back to Atlanta and stuff like that. I'm seeing the superficiality of this city. So I'm kind of thinking that all these hoes are just money hungry. You know what I'm saying? If you don't got this, if you don't got that, they probably ain't gonna fuck with you. You know, that's kind of how I was thinking. So once again, that would be my dark side of the beast. Like, you know, the princess trying to get close to me, but I keep going in the shade and going in the shadow because I don't want her to see my true face. You know, Princess Jasmine, she think I'm really that guy from the market who had the nice personality, but I'm putting on the front like I'm Prince Ali because I don't want her to know who I really am. So it's that kind of that same deal. Just making the analogy in this story. So anyway, you know, I'm around a woman and stuff like that. And being that I don't really have low self-esteem, I still was able to walk around with my charisma and my normal self because I don't care about that. You know, I ain't never really had no money and stuff like that anyway, so it's not like it bothered me. And it damn sure wouldn't bother me just because the fact that some woman won't talk to me. You know, that kind of stuff never really bothered me. So she still is seeing how I'm exhibited this confidence about myself. But on the outside, I don't really have anything to be confident about. You know, it ain't like I'm riding around some $1 million car or something. But this guy still is overly confident. What is it? So I'm noticing the woman is getting more and more interested in me. And she's getting more and more physical, you know, holding on me, etc. because we was in public. So then we go in a particular area where it's a lot of other women who look like her. Other Instagram model looking type women, right? And I can remember it was like 3 of them, and they was just eyeing and looking and stuff like that. So then, when they were looking and stuff, after we left the area, the woman that I'm with, she tells me, she said, yeah, those women were looking over here because they're wondering, why am I with you? You know, basically they thinking like, you know, she looking like $1 million and he looking like $1. Why is she with him? You know what I'm saying? That's how they were looking. So, you know, I'm like, wow, okay, I can kind of see that because that was the energy that I was feeling. So anyway, I continue to move on and stuff like that. Still, my spirit is up, you know, but at the same time, once again, that energy of that low self-esteem is always lurking, or the insecurity is always lurking just because you're in a physical body. So now the woman wants to hang out. She wants to go chill somewhere. But mind you, I don't have my own spot. So I'm thinking like, damn, this woman wants to kick it. She's ultra fine. I'm talking about like this woman was ultra fine. Like, I done had a lot of fine women in my life. I done had a lot. But I'll never forget this one. You know what I'm saying? She was like super fine. But anyway, man, I just lost my track. Well, I swear she was fine. But yeah, so goddamn, so I'm like, damn, so she want to kick it. So I'm like, damn, I ain't got no spot. So, long story short, the woman don't give a fuck. We go to the spot where I am staying. We just sitting outside chilling. And then on top of that, it was raining. Yes, it was raining. We sitting outside chilling and it's raining. This is an Instagram model that I'm with. But on top of that, this ain't even the crazy part. As we ride into the place where we about to go hang out at, it's raining outside. Mind you, my car ain't even all up the par like it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? My car ain't even all up the par like it's supposed to be. And when it rains, sometimes on the sunroof, some of the little water kind of trickles in, right? Then on top of that, when it rains, the shit get kind of foggy on the inside. So I got to keep me a towel to keep wiping the fucking inside window off so I can see. This woman in the car with her $2 million weave covered up, still getting wet. Then she got the towel wiping the fucking windshield down for me, and she ain't complaining or saying nothing about shit, and still is enamored by me. Now, mind you, in the back of my mind, I'm wondering, you know, is she materialistic? You know, what is this woman really on? But I'm having all these symbols show me that this woman ain't materialistic at all. She cares nothing about any of that shit. So long story short, we end up getting to the place where we was going to hang out at. And then, you know, she just starts telling me what she liked about me and stuff. And it was all those intangible qualities. You know, how I had the courage to, you know what I'm saying? Like still be my true self. How I didn't flex for her. How I didn't walk around with no low self-esteem. How I wasn't afraid to show her my true self and all these different things. Like, that's what she actually liked about me, you know? And I should have ended up making her my girlfriend because she wanted to be my girlfriend. But because, once again, at that time, I didn't have a job, you know what I'm saying, and all this other bullshit, I shoot myself in the foot, and then I tell her that I don't want to be in a relationship, and she ends up going on about her life. So my soul had to end up suffering after a while because I was down still thinking about her. I mean, mind you, I'm making this tape now, I'm still thinking about her. You know what I'm saying? So this is the thing. So once again, I suffered all because of a false, fake insecurity that was in my mind that I had created. Just like Aladdin suffered when he was flexing like he was Prince Ali, but that wasn't the man she really wanted. Just like the beast suffered when he kept hiding his face from the princess, but she really wasn't there for that face because she knew what was inside of him. So what ends up happening in the movie Aladdin, of course, Jafar exposes, you know, Prince Ali and shows that it's really Aladdin. But what Aladdin does is he, of course, you know, then Jafar like knocks him out and he's like, you know, far out somewhere and shit. And then he locks up Princess Jasmine and he locks up her father. And then Jafar basically is in power. But what ends up happening is that these same intangible quality traits about Aladdin, they show up. The same traits he was using because he was a street rat. He ended up using these to free Princess Jasmine and her father and to basically defeat Jafar. So the same characteristics that he felt like didn't have no value actually ended up having value in the end and freed the princess and got the woman. What happens in The Beauty and the Beast? He ends up basically getting over his insecurity and allowing himself to merge with the princess. Then he becomes the handsome princess, and then he gets, you know, his original look back. Basically, he moves out of that shadow. You know what I'm saying? Because The Beauty and the Beast is a story about Saturn. You know what I'm saying? Saturn is the Beauty and the Beast. That's what that story represents. Okay, so that's what ends up happening. And me personally, my story would have ended up happily ever after had I made her my girlfriend. Now I got a happily later after that night. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I still did squeeze out, you know, a little experience with her, you know. So it ain't like, you know, I ain't win, you know, Jasmine always win. But the number one win would have been me actually having her as a girlfriend and me having her for the long term. Like, that was the win. You know what I'm saying? That would have been a long term win. And the only reason why it wasn't a long-term win because of, once again, me worrying about low money and low bullshit like that. So basically, man, what I'm saying is that you brothers out there better not ever trade y'all's real qualities and real characteristics for a superficial, mundane reason just because you think some women are interested in that shit. What I'm telling you right now, 9 times out of 10, all the women you meet, or majority of the women you meet, especially if you're one of these brothers I'm talking about, the women are not, they're not going to be concerned about no money, bro. They're really not. Like, most of these women got their own money. They got their own apartment, etc. You know what I'm saying? Their own car or whatever. Like, they really only want you, you know what I'm saying, for those inner intangible traits. Now, mind you, you know, you got to have at least a little something to bring to the table, at least a little money or, you know, a whip or whatever it is you have. I mean, you know, have a little something to bring to the table for the woman. But I'm telling you overall, though, like, they really don't care about that. Not for you brothers. See, it's different for you all. It's different for the male Cinderella. That's how the male Cinderella story go. So, once again, even though, yeah, I know you see all the athletes getting all the women right now. Yeah, I see you all the lame-ass, gay-ass rappers, you know, skinny jean wearers. Yeah, I see you. I know they getting all the women after the club. You know what I'm saying? I know that, bro. Yeah, I know the dope boy on the block who's selling the crack. I know he getting all the women. You know what I'm saying? But this is the male Cinderella story that I'm telling you. Like, this is how that shit goes. You remember how Cinderella, when all her sisters went to the ball, how she stayed back and cleaned up. But who came and visited her? Her fairy godmother. And what did her fairy godmother do? She turned her into the higher stage of the goddess stage. The same way how the genie turned Aladdin into Prince Ali. So your higher self is going to turn you into the handsome prince, while the dope boy is doing what he's doing and all that. You know what I'm saying? So let them have their little temporary fun, because at the end of the day, they're not going to have that happily ever ending like you are. You know what I'm saying? One of my mottos of life is that I always want the last laugh. I don't care about the first laugh. I will die for that. I will die that way too. I always want the last laugh. You can have the first laugh and you can have the middle laugh, but give me the last one. And that's what you all got to remember. Like, at the end of this shit, you all are going to be on top. The white supremacy shit is going to fall. The way we are living right now is not going to be like that forever. You're not going to always be walking. You're not going to always be on the martyr. You're not going to always have to ask your goddamn sister to borrow $5. You're not going to always have to stay with your mom. You're not going to always be jobless. You're not going to always have to go to work 5 days a week. You're not going to always have to work every weekend and not be able to kick it with your daughter or your son. You're not going to always have to give up on your dream of being a rapper or whatever it is you want to do. You know what I'm saying? One day you're going to get out this shit, bro. So don't trick yourself off the street, and don't give up your value system for some temporary bullshit. And don't bottle your emotions up either. You know what I'm saying? And then this is my main thing. When you come across Princess Jasmine, you better go with her. Fuck that. Because I'm telling you right now, like, when I meet that next Princess Jasmine that comes like that, and I know, oh, fuck that. Fuck that, boy. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. Because, you know, that's what my soul wants to feel. Like, my soul loves having them kind of connections with women. It just does. I mean, that's something I had to accept. And it's a suffering involved. But the suffering only comes involved. It only is involved when the man bottles his emotion up and he does that hiding in the shadows shit like the beast. When he does that Aladdin shit by flexing like he Prince Ali, and you not that nigga that was in the market stealing apples. That's when your soul starts suffering. Your soul came here to be Aladdin, to look like the dirty guy in the street, because it really is the prince. Your soul knows you the prince already. So it ain't gonna come making you look like the prince. See, these dope boys and all these street niggas, and these niggas are not princes. That's why they look like they got money. You ever notice when you see the white man and white women, they don't walk around with their Gucci bags, and they don't walk around like that, because their money is tucked away in the bank like it's supposed to be. You know, you don't usually see them in what? Some sandals or some beat up looking shit, right? This is how this shit goes. So you need to accept your position as being the male Cinderella. All right. So it's the Midnight Mirage. I hope this tape, you know, helps some of you brothers out to understand this shit. But really what it's about, man, the only way you're going to get that real beautiful woman that you all want is if you keep your value system and you stay on your fucking square. If you get off your square, the woman notices you got off of your square. Women do not like men that break their code just to impress them. You see what I'm saying? Like that woman that I was talking about, like if I would have told, like if that woman would have saw me stop writing books and stop working the little shit out, the little job I had, just so I could like do something to try to impress her, she wouldn't have liked me no more. That's what I'm saying. It's like the shit you all thinking y'all got to do to get these women, that's not what you got to do to get them. I'm telling you right now, this shit is like some real shit. Like I don't have no money like that, man. My car still got the fucking raindrops coming in. You see what I'm saying? And I be getting the baddest women, and I'm going to keep on getting them. And even when I get money and I'm getting them then, that's how I'm going to know that shit is real. Because I was getting them when I ain't have no money. That's how I know that when niggas say that all women are just gold diggers, that shit really is not true. I've had experiences to show me that shit is not true. And that's why that Aladdin movie stuck with me as a child, and I never could figure it out. And even in like the last 2 or 3 weeks, I keep seeing that shit, that Aladdin movie. It keep playing. It keep on playing over and over in my mind. And as a child, I was always into that fucking Aladdin. That movie has always been one of my favorite movies. And I understand why, because I always was Aladdin. I always was that guy. I always was the smartest dude. I was the most athletic. I was the most handsome. I was the tallest guy, the most muscular guy, all this different stuff. But I ain't never had no fucking money. Never. Nope. Chaz was broke. Never had that. So I was always used to being at Aladdin. And I was always used to having to see which one is more valuable. Are my personal traits more valuable, or is this money shit more valuable? You know, and I was just blessed to know that it was my traits. So I never sold them out just to get people to like me. But I saw folks doing that my whole life, man. You know, my whole life. So keep your value system. Choose souls over goals. And stand on your square. But it's man, I'm Mirage. It's the boy Blackbeard. I'm out.